G'day and welcome to Aussievision. I'm Dale.
And I'm Liv.
And we are outside the St. Jakobshalle Arena in Basel on the day of the Eurovision Grand Final, aren't we, Liv?
Yes, everyone's streaming in for the family show right now, and it's kind of nice to be in this atmosphere, I feel. We're kind of sat between a road and a bike path and a tram. So, yeah, you're going to see a lot of stuff happening in the background. But
it's the vibes. It's a good, beautiful weather. We've been very lucky.
All vibes.
Now, we're going to be going through every single song today in running order and giving our predictions about where we think they may end up. Some might be a bit more like spot on, like that's going to come fifth, or they might be ranges.
Yeah.
Like bottom five or something. All right, well, let's start with the show opener. It's Norway. What are you thinking about this one's chances, Liv?
Well, I think going into the contest, a lot of us thought top 10 was pretty reasonable. But honestly, he's just struggled a little bit with his jury performance last night. There was a bit of strain, a bit of nerves. This is a song that would have gotten quite a bit with the juries potentially. So I've kind of moderated on it, and I think it's going to be in about that 12th to 14th patch.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think his voice sounds a little tired. Yeah. It's not that he's singing badly. It's just you can see the strain of the week has caught up a little bit, and I think that may even be affecting his confidence about how he's performing the song. So I think the jury wasn't a great one where he needed those points, I felt. So I've got him in around 15th, so that kind of somewhere maybe top half the right-hand side, but 12th, 13th area I could see too.
Show opener's tough.
Yeah. You know. That it's very, very hard, especially that public vote. All right, Luxembourg in the death slot, but you know what? I don't think it'll do that bad.
I feel like it kind of popped from there anyway. It seemed like a fairly suitable song for that position. She had a really good jury show last night. No worries there at all. I don't know. What do you think, Del?
Yeah, I've kind of have this in 16th, but it's a bit of an unknown. Like I could see this in the last few, but it's got such people will really like that staging effect that it has at the Doll's House. It's got a younger audience that will vote for it, I think. But it's Luxembourg. Do they have many friends?
Actually, that's true because all the kids will be like awake by that point to go, "Mummy, Daddy, vote for the Dollhouse song." Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I've got a 16th, but I feel I can't see a top 10 kind of thing, but anywhere from 12th to 22nd, but I've got a 16th.
Yeah, I'm going to say around about the 16th mark. Yeah.
Nice. All right, we've got Estonia next. Now we're talking the big dogs with the public vote. I think there's a massive public vote coming for this, Liv.
Huge. I think he's going to absolutely stomp it. I wouldn't be surprised if he's second in the televote.
Yeah, huge one coming through. Now, interesting jury performance last night. He almost sounded okay.
I mean, as far as Tommy Cash's vocals go, he actually made an effort to kind of enunciate things a little smoother, and you could tell he was trying to go for a little bit more depth with his vocal, which is quite funny because obviously I think the crunchiness of his vocal actually makes the song, and that's fine for the televote, but to hear him try and do like a really smooth rendition for the juries was quite amusing, but he managed to nail it. It's not going to do very well with the juries.
He might get like 10 votes instead of like 5. Yeah.
I have this at 4th or 5th.
Yeah, oh, bang, I've got it 5th place. I see a very kind of Moldova, Hey Mama 2017 style public vote just shoot up from the bottom area towards the top, and I've got it 5th, but it could be as high as 3rd, I think, or, it rusted on top 10, that's for sure.
100%.
All right, Israel next. Now, there's been a few moments during the week where the vocal's been great for 95 and she just misses one note, but in the jury show, she did nail that one.
Yeah, she pulled it all together. She hit all the high notes. No technical issues there at all.
So I think we will see a half-decent jury result for this. At the same time, the song is quite a dated ballad, and I don't think it's going to be the jury fodder that a lot of the other songs that are ballads, you've got the France, you've got the Switzerland, you've got other powerful vocals. So I don't think the jury's going to come massive for it, but, reasonably okay. And it's no doubt going to get a high public vote.
Absolutely.
And I've got it coming 6th.
I was going to say 5th. Yeah.
Didn't you say Estonia came 5th?
I said
a draw.
4th or 5th.
Oh, you did say 4th or 5th. Yeah, I'm holding you to stuff.
I'm already losing track at this point. Everybody's in the top 5.
By the end of it, we'll have like 15 in the top 10. Lithuania next. I've really changed my tune on this, and I think the arena suits it and the staging looks really good. And it has a point of difference for juries, doesn't it?
It really does. I feel like, similar to Voyager, there will be respect from the juries to have this being the strongest sort of band song of the year. They just nail it every time. This is something that I could imagine musos getting behind.
Yeah. I think it'll have an audience in the public vote, but I'm just not sure about how much. There'll be a section who will vote for this, but not huge.
I mean, there's always people who want a good rock song, and I feel like they've done that this year. The Lithuanian diaspora always comes hard when they send anything half decent.
Yeah.
And I've always thought this could be in the top 10, but now I feel very confident. I'm thinking it could go as high as 8th, but I would say about 10th.
I've literally got it 8th, but I do feel it's in that 8th to 12th area. I'd be very surprised if it's on. Even if it was right hand side of the scoreboard, it'd be the top of it. It'd be 14th, 15th at worst. But I do think I feel like 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, kind of Voyager type thing.
Yeah.
All right, Spain now. I find this a really hard one to predict.
I don't, because of the pop girlies this year, she is giving a lot, but they're just giving more. And then on top of that, with the juries, they have so much to think about this year. Like, they're not going to be thinking about melody, unfortunately. I love her, don't get me wrong, but honestly, I see single-digit televote, single-digit jury, and I actually have her to come last.
Oh, you'd be breaking a lot of gay men's hearts across Europe, live there.
Yours.
And probably including mine, saying that I don't have it much higher. I do think it's very hard to know where the points are going to come here. She is popular, but like, who's going to have her in the top 10 overall for an entire country? Like, the gays have power, but not that much. Speaking as one of those members of the community, I think low on both. It's going to be bottom 5. I've got the number as 25th, but I do think it could be 20, 21, 22. I think it's in that bottom 5. Very typical Spain result in the early 20s is what they kind of get for these type of entries.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Ukraine next. Not a good night for them in the juries.
No, it really wasn't. It was strained. It was a little bit pitchy at times. And then he was kind of jumping out of some of the really long, big notes at the end to try and mitigate any, I guess, other issues that could happen. Unfortunately, not a strong jury performance at all, but I don't know, how's this going to go?
I've got it low for jury score, but I think it was going to get a low, a reasonable one. There's a musicality here. It's a nice song. People do, and some musos will enjoy this. We saw Danny from Voyager had this high in his top 10, for example. But the jury performance is going to even drag that down further. Public vote will always be strong for Ukraine, but I think this might be the weakest public vote we've seen since 2022. So I've got it in 10th. Remembering that in Liverpool they came 6th overall, and I thought that was a pretty average entry, and so I still have this as 10th.
Done very well.
Yeah. Where do you think then?
Well, I was thinking actually 12th, even lower.
So, I thought you were about to say something completely different.
No, but like, it just wouldn't surprise me at all if this comes 6th. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, they're just very consistent.
Yeah.
They get love no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next to the UK now. Now, they have really been struggling all week, but I would say they kind of got it together in the jury show.
Yep, totally agree. This was, I think, their best performance I've heard from them since rehearsal started, and it was less shouty. There was only one section right towards the very end. I'm not really sure if it was an inner ear issue or something, but they did get a little bit out of time for a good 15 seconds before they kind of got it back. It wasn't super, super obvious, but it was enough to just be like, oh, what's happening there? And then they managed to rein it all back in before they ended up in the love heart at the end. But is this going to get enough points to do something with the jury's Dale?
No, I don't think it's enough. It's still, even though the vocal is better, it's still messy. It's still not a lot to grab onto. I did think if they did a good job, there was jury points here. I still think there's going to probably be limited even on last night. That timing thing is quite the issue. Like, the timing thing is consistent. So I do still have it in last, but I just think maybe there will be a scattering of jury points to get them up a bit above. But maybe they might come 24th. But it's bottom 5.
I think it's getting like 0 with the televote and then like 10 points or something with the juries. Maybe 12 if I'm being generous, and it'll be 25th.
Yeah. All right. So we have UK, Spain, but it's flipped around the other way.
Yeah.
All right. Austria now. We're talking the big dog contenders here. And that performance seems to be really resonating with people. Yeah,
I'll say I think he's absolutely finally nailed that little difference between the softer parts and then when he really belts it out. You know, I feel like he's finally honed it into a point where it's really effective and you don't feel like you're just being whacked on the head and then dropped. He's just found another gear on it, especially last night in that jury show. It was technically completely flawless. I think this is winning the juries, and I actually think, and I can't believe I'm saying this, It's winning the whole contest.
Oh, wow, called it.
Yeah.
It has changed. I think they've been improving the shots. They're keeping the illusion of things better. During the week, it's looked like it's just a prop on stage at a school play. Yeah. I watched it from the semi and in the jury last night, and like the smoke's better. There's only a couple of shots where I'm taken out of that illusion, and I think it's done well down the screen. It has a wow factor for people at home. It's one of those ones where this could just run away with the jury, or it could fight it out with France and Switzerland for jury points. And that's the reason I've got it in second, not winning, because it's just an unknown. This is a really hard song to pick, because people could be like, that's just too arty-farty wanky, I'm not voting for it, or like, that's the most stunning thing I've ever seen. And that could be the same for the juries. I just don't.
Yeah.
It's going to win it. Whatever result it's going to get, I'm like, well, that was obvious.
Yes.
Even
100%.
if it flops or if it does really well.
If it comes 7th, I'll be like, of course.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
And if it wins, of course. It's got to get the jury points.
But I mean, I'm hedging my bets on the fact that the jury winner this year is probably going to win the contest, and I think it will win the juries. So.
All right. Iceland next. Great performance in the semi-final. They're straight after Austria. Interesting running order. Can they pop here in 10th again?
I mean, it's a 180, and I feel like sometimes that works, and I think on this occasion it kind of does. I mean, they did their thing in the jury show last night. The juries won't blink at this, but I think they've done everything they can to get an okay result. Like, I mean, this was never a song, like the big win was going to get out of that semi, right? Getting out of the semi is the win for them. So I think they'll be happy with whatever they get.
Yeah, I agree. This will be low in juries. Yeah. Maybe they might get a sprinkling from Sandies, but I think there'll be some points around the place for public. I do think this has a market. It has the kind of Jedwardness about it that people seem to love. It is kind of a bit of a younger audience song. It's still early in the night.
True.
So I do see some half-decent public vote, but not a huge amount. I've got it in around 18th. I don't see it making the left-hand side of the scoreboard. I think maybe its ceiling could be about 15th, 16th, but it could be 23rd.
Yeah, I was thinking 18th to 20th, so on a similar vibe.
Nice. Latvia next. I think their victory was to make it to the grand final. There'll be a bit of an audience here for this, but I do think it's going to struggle myself.
I think this is an entry that probably did actually quite well in that semi, but now will get probably swallowed up in the final, as much as I love it. They were technically excellent for the jury show last night, and that big note at the end that can sometimes sound a little ropey with all the other vocals, that was the best version of it I've ever heard. So they've done everything they can there. Yeah, I'm sort of seeing it around about, I was going to say 18th to 20th, I just said that, but about that area once again.
I've got it a bit lower. I just feel like juries don't often go for these type of songs, and I think the public have other things to go for in this market. But it is the kind of, still has a kind of folky forest vote.
Forest vote.
I've got it as 23rd.
Yeah, fair.
Netherlands next. I find this a hard one to pick because people seem to love the song. I love the song, but you hear it, people sing along to the whole thing in the stadium. It seems to be doing well on streaming.
Yes.
But I feel sometimes Claude nails it and sometimes he doesn't. Last night seemed to be pretty good, I thought.
Yeah. He wasn't too strained last night. There was no technical issues there. I think there perhaps could be like a little bit of love for the Netherlands. There will be some people who remember what happened to them last year and that kind of thing, and I find this so hard to go, but I'm going to say like bottom of the top 10, yeah.
I've got it 9th.
I have not looked at your notes, can
I
say. I'm trying not to peek at them because they're right in front of me. But
yeah, no, I've got it 9th, but I do feel this one could be a 14th, 15th. I actually don't see it much higher than 7th, 8th, 9th.
Well, that's the thing. This felt like one of the big jury hitters before the show, but then once we started the show, it was like, oh, actually, a lot of your market's been swallowed up by France, Austria, and Switzerland. Yeah.
So, I look, they'll be back. They're going to be lower end of that thing, maybe around the 10.
Yeah.
All right, Finland next. Now, some people are getting hyped up about this one. It is certainly dramatic, and that ending is fantastic. But you know what, Liv? I'm worried about the start of the song. I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's completely working.
I'm not. For me, this is just every time she goes out there, she flirts a little bit more with that camera.
Yeah.
She hits her marks out a little bit better. They get the camera shots a little bit better every time. I'll say her jury performance last night was the best I've ever heard from her, actually. It was less shouty. She made a real effort to smooth over a few things just to try and get a little bit more jury love there. I think there's a lot of people saying they think this can win, and that's, I think, ridiculous. I would love to see it, but it's not happening. I think she can finish about 6.
6, yeah, okay. I'm kind of in the same area. I think the one thing for me is I think it's going to get some solid on both sides. Maybe that kind of 100 and 110 points or 120 on either side for 250s or something overall to get in that kind of 6th, 7th area. I've got it down as 7th here. I think there will be a lot of public who will look at it and go, who's this kind of dominatrix, full-on European woman kind of being a bit shouty at us, even though it's fantastic and we love it. I'm just not sure it's going to click with the public as much as it has clicked with fans.
I don't think it's accessible enough.
That's why I think the end is accessible, because it's such a wow moment. How can it not be?
Quintessential Eurovision moment of the year.
Yeah, but I think by then she would have lost a lot of people.
Yes. 100%.
So, I don't know. I hope it will do better, because I love it, and I'd love to see her top 5 and even better. All right, Italy next. This should get a little bit of jury love, but it's not one of Italy's strongest entries.
It's not, and they always will get a decent televote. I think, though, perhaps the crowds are finally gone a bit like, Italy, they do so well every year. Maybe it's a bit like, we can take a break. We can take a break from Italy because, this isn't their best entry. And, I think they are on for one of their worst results in a very long time. I've got it down at about the 15th mark.
Oh, I got a little bit higher at 12th, but it wouldn't surprise me. It's going to feel like it's the teens type of song. It's not in the 20s, but if it suddenly came 18th or 19th, I wouldn't be surprised.
No. He was good with the jury show. He was very solid, as he always is. But I think that there's other heartfelt songs for people to grab this year, and he's just not... He's hard to connect with.
He's not cutting through.
On a first impression basis, he's hard to connect with.
Yeah. So, not one of Italy's normal great results. All right, I've got Poland now coming in. We're 15th in the running order now. She's going to come out with a bang after Italy. But I feel like this has limitations, this song, and how it can go.
I agree. It is something that really slaps you over the face, but in a different way to Erica Vickman, but I feel not as well as at the same time. Her jury performance last night was mostly good, although that really big high note where she goes, high and then down into the growl, she did have a little crack in there. And she got a little bit caught in the ropes on the way out as well. So she didn't have a completely clean jury performance. Polish diaspora will come for this really hard, right? This could be 2016 all over again, where actually she just is like 3rd in the televote. I would not be surprised to see something really crazy like that happen, but I also wouldn't be surprised to see this somehow come about 12th.
Yeah, I've got it down for 14th because I got a very low jury score for this, and not as high in the public as anticipated. The diaspora will come. There's not a lot of songs from the east to grab things, and so I could pick up something there. But I just think in a very strong televote year for other things, we're not going to get the usual big thing. But it could be 2016. It could still definitely do top 10 based on public vote alone. Yeah. But it kind of feels like a little bit of a better result than Blanca. And she came 16th, 17th, 18th, something. So this feels just only about 4 spots higher or something. So I got a 14th.
Just out of the 10, for me.
All right, Germany next. This is one of the coolest, best songs of the year, but I'm not sure that's going to translate to a result.
No, and she was very, very nervous in her jury show last night for probably the whole first half. Her vocal was a little shaky. It was just a little not convincing, and just bless her, but it wasn't very good. And then towards the end, it really did pick up. They've altered the smoke a little bit, which made it a bit nicer to watch. You weren't sort of trying to struggle to see them on stage, but I don't know about this. It's a great streaming song. Don't get me wrong. This might be one of the most streamed songs at the end of Eurovision, but I actually don't think it's going to translate.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit like Snap with Armenia, where it went off afterwards, but that came 20th. I've got it down at 16th, but I think I'm actually 17th. I'm actually probably being generous there. I'm a bit worried that it could be a bottom 5 when they don't deserve it, because it's a really good, well put together staging. But I don't know. It'll get smatterings on the jury and smatterings on the public. But I hope for more, because it's
so good. But I'm going to put it at about 15th to 18th.
All right.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Let's do Greece next. This is a hard one to pick. I don't know how people are going to take it and how the juries are going to take it. This could be top 10 or this could be 20th.
Well, that's the thing. There's not many songs that have really big sort of Eastern jury appeal this year, and this kind of fills a little bit of a hole for them. Greece always gets a decent televote. You know, this isn't a rise up type of song. This is something that's more quality than that. But then again, in this year, it gets a little swallowed up by everything else. So I'm going to be a little bit more conservative on this. I'm going to actually say 20th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've got it down as 17th, but I've been thinking about this a lot. All those ex-Yugoslav countries, they don't have many things to go for. This kind of feels like it could be their vibe a little bit.
Actually true.
There's a few other ones out there, and you just need to get enough. But still, I don't know, 17th, you're still going to be getting like 130 points over or something like that overall, and maybe that's where I think it's going to be. But if something could surprise tonight with higher points than we expect, I think it could be Greece just on a mathematical front around filling that marketplace that not many people are doing over that side. But you do have Albania, kind of maybe in the same, going for the same votes in some parts.
True, and I feel like Albania just does it better, but not on a jury level, just on an overall level.
I agree. All right, Armenia next. Now, I was bigging this up in the semi-final, but I'm not going to be bigging it up in the final. I think it's going to hit its limit here a little bit.
Yeah, its win was getting into that final. When you look at the streaming figures sort of since the semi, this is not really being picked up by anyone. No one's kind of going back and wanting to rewatch it type thing. So I think it just stood out in that semi, but is going to kind of get stomped in this final. I see it in about 22nd, something like that.
I think the good thing in a way, it's going to stand on its own spot between Greece and Switzerland. That is in between. If you like this and you really like it, you're probably not one for Greece and maybe not one for Switzerland, but the juries aren't going to go for it. It's probably going to have some limited public vote. I think I've been generous by giving it 21st here. It's probably going to be lower. It even could be a candidate for last.
You reckon?
The last couple, I think. I don't know how many people. Oh, it'll get votes.
It's a bit of televote love.
Yeah. I'll stick with my 21st.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about where it can go?
I said 22nd.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I missed that. Switzerland. Let's just move on from Armenia.
Moving on.
We're talking about so much this week. Switzerland. This was a real wow moment, the one that's really lifted. I was thinking early in the week it could be a jury winner. I'm not sure about its running order. I don't think it works quite as strongly, but it's certainly going to hoover up so many jury points.
Absolutely. I thought it was going to be winning the juries, and now I've swung onto the Austrian train, but this is still going to get an absolute huge vote. It's got the curse of a host nation entry. That's the only problem with a televote. Unless you are in Italy or a Sweden of the world, typically they're kind of mean to you, right? So for that reason, I think it's probably going to finish about 5th or 6th.
Yeah, I've got it down for 4th. It wouldn't surprise me to see it again in 3rd just based on jury alone, but I've got it in 4th. But it's to me, it's rustled on top 10, hopefully top 5. Next is Malta. I think this is not going to do that great.
No, I think everyone thought this could be top 5. I think that's a pipe dream at this point. Malta does struggle with televote. This is a big televote song, don't get me wrong, but is it really a jury song? Like, I wouldn't say she's got the most quality vocals in the world. She does what she does well.
I thought she hit it last night, though.
She did hit it.
That's probably her best she's hit that note, I thought.
Yeah, she'll get it. I mean, okay, Malta always does well also with the juries. Okay, fine. I'm going to change. I'm going to swing my opinion as I'm saying it. But I think it's more likely to be the bottom of the top 10.
Yeah, you know where I have her? 19th.
What?
Yeah, I just don't see
geez.
it. I don't see it. I just think they've got other things to look at in the jury. I just don't think people are going to come for it as strong. I know that's a bit harsh and it's probably going to do better, but I don't see it coming through. I don't see it.
Well,
famous last words.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's the first one we disagreed a lot on, I guess.
Yeah. All right, Portugal next. Again, a victory to make the final, but there will be some smattering of jury love for this, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there always is once Portugal makes it to the final. The juries go, yes, elevator music, I love it. But, no, it's a bit better than that. But, yeah, apart from perhaps their Mediterranean buddies, I mean, is this getting any televote? I don't think so. I see it at around about the 20th, 18th mark, something like that.
I've got a 24th. I just think even with some jury love, I don't even think it'll be that much. They might get 20. And then a bit of votes. I don't know. Maybe 24th is a bit. I do think it's bottom 5, though. I think it's bottom 5.
Fair.
Denmark next, another victory to get through. This is a bob. People do seem to love it, but I'm not sure this will translate to a high result. But she's made the final. That's the main thing.
Yeah, once again, stood out in the final, got out of the final, is going to get stomped, I feel, in the grand final. It's just too many other things going on. You know, Sweden is right afterwards. It's like, oh, which fun Scandinavian song am I going to vote for? Is it going to be her or them? And most people are going to go for them. So I actually have this in the bottom 5, probably like 21st.
Yeah, I've got a 20th at this place. Yeah.
In agreement.
We're back on track. Sweden next. Great running order spot. I think actually Denmark feels like a little bit of the opener for the main act, which I think will build people up for it. And they're going to smash the public vote. That's just a known.
Yes, I do see them winning the televote after all of this backwards and forwards. With the jury show last night, they did everything that they could. There was no technical issues. They did their usual vocals. There was no massive voice cracking or anything that could, you know, they've invited the juries in to say you can vote for the fun song if you want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think the jury winner is going to dictate this year, and that's why I put them in second.
I have them as a winner. When I just come back to the most simple answer is the right answer sometimes. And I think it comes down to that they're going to get a massive public vote. They're going to get some jury love. And I feel like the juries, Austria, Switzerland and France, and there's actually a little bit more jury love than we're thinking this year between film. And that could flatten that out, and we could actually see bizarrely the opposite of what we thought from this year, is that we're only going to see a couple of big ones in the public vote, and that could decide it. But it could be the complete opposite. So I'm gonna go with Sweden, but
Hope so.
I think they're rusted on top 3. It's just where they come in that.
Yeah.
All right, France next. And I thought maybe coming after Sweden might be a bad thing, but it actually works because there's space. You've got to get the stage ready. So there's breathing room, and she comes out and she's nailed that jury performance last night. Best I've seen. The first time I actually felt some emotion about the staging this year.
I will say, she found a new gear last night where she just connected that little bit better with the camera. The vocals are super smooth. They fixed up a few camera shots to make the sand look as good as possible. And yeah, like you mentioned, there's actually an intermission sort of thing between Sweden and France where the hosts do some chatting or whatever as everything's been set up. So you've kind of forgotten that Sweden happened by the time you get to her, which is fine. If they went literally back to back, I would have said yikes. But I think because of all that, I've got her in third.
Yeah, I've got her in third too.
Oh.
I do think, and this I don't think helps Austria or Switzerland's cause because she's lifted her game and now they have to fight it out for those points because that could be the jury winner.
Not to mention third last in the running order.
Yeah, it was a nice spot. She popped last night.
She did.
And they've fixed up some of, I think they have, we need to watch it back probably tonight, but it looks like they fixed up some of the shots to make it less look like things are coming out from behind her.
Less chunks, more sand.
Yeah, and just not coming out like it looks like she's had a bad curry or something.
IBS or something.
Yeah, so it looks a little more flattering.
Yeah.
So I think that'll help. San Marino, I don't see much for this. I've got it. It's in 23rd. I think it'll get some public vote, but dust with the juries.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of hoping perhaps they get their best result ever, but I think Serhat's going to hold that title for another year. I have it in the 20s as well, and I had it probably, I think, 23rd, yep.
And Albania to finish off with, which I thought was going to not work, but it kind of did in a way. I thought it actually wasn't a bad show closer. I don't think it'll hurt it too much.
I don't think so. I mean, look, someone has to go last, but I think she brought her best vocal last night, and I will say she was much more connected with the camera too. She just was giving these extra looks and extra this and that. Like, it really was quite stunning, and I think this is also one of those entries that could do phenomenally. Like, a top 10 for Albania is always an incredible result, or it could come 20th, and I would not be surprised, genuinely. I have it in 12th to 13th.
For me, like, I think great performance last night. He was good as well because he can sometimes look. He did his deadpan really well last night. They do a little bit of canned kind of applause when he comes, which I find really janky because you can't hear the crowd, unfortunately. So where people being resorted to do those kind of things. I have it as 11th. Only because I feel like I'm hedging my bets either way, because it could be like 15th or it could be 5th. Like, it could have this wild card constructor about it, like Serbia a few years ago, or it could just, I don't think it has that level.
I feel like it's losing momentum, not gaining it.
I agree. So I kind of said all season it had no chance of making the 10. Then I was like, oh, it can make the 10, and now I've got it just outside.
Yeah.
So somewhere in between all that. All right, well, that's it.
Now we're going to enjoy the show.
We'll see how it all goes. Good luck to your favourite.
Yes.
We can sort of relax and not worry too much because Australia's not in it. That's the one benefit, I guess, even though I'd rather him be there.
Silver linings, Dale.
Exactly. All right, well, enjoy the show and we'll wrap it all up tomorrow.
Happy Eurovision.
See ya.